Hey there, I'm Lucas Bond with the Missouri Department of Conservation, and today on Habitat Hints, we're talking something really interesting for this time of year, of course. It's ice safety, about ice safety around anywhere and the importance of it. I'm actually going to be joined by Lieutenant Braunecker, and he's going to go over and tell us all about ice safety and some things to keep in mind when you're around ice or anything going on, if you're fishing or working around it or anything like that. Talk all things ice safety. Let's turn this around and chat with him. All right, Lieutenant Braunecker, tell us about ice safety. I know, like you were just saying here a little bit ago, we don't have very many weeks out of the year that there is actually ice on a pond or anything, but you never know. We may have a weird year where we may have some more ice than usual, but ice safety is very important, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Lucas, I appreciate us being focused on this topic because it's very, when you talk about safety, that's the main thing that we have to think about. And in Missouri, we're very seasonable here with temperatures, and honestly, we probably don't have more than a couple of weeks out of the year where we might have a thick enough ice for us to be on the ice. And what I'm talking about that is usually it takes at least 4 inches of ice or more, and that's continuous ice on the pond where you're actually going to be at, to be able to safely go out on it, okay? So that's really, really important. As we talk about here, we actually have a dock, and I would highly recommend if people are going to go out to find out what the ice depths are, to use a dock such as this, to where if you're augering a hole to find out what it actually is, that at least you're off the ice at that point in time when you're actually augering to find out what the depths are. We are going to talk a little bit about some other safety items and equipment that'll help you, but also, even though that you may have 4 inches of ice on the dock itself, as we can look around this pond right now on the edges, there's no ice. So just because there's 4 inches of ice one place does not mean that it's 4 inches of ice on throughout the entire pond or lake. And over time throughout the year, meaning like we get a freeze up, if the ice becomes rotten where it's mushy and stuff, just because you have 4 inches doesn't mean that it's going to hold you either. So we want 4 inches of good solid ice that's continuous throughout the pond. And as we talk about other safety items, I do have a couple different things here that help us, because one of the things that we got to make sure is that we are actually able to stand up and be upright on the ice, and these are called crampons. There's a lot of different types of crampons, but the general gist is these will attach to your boots or your shoes that you're using, and that it'll keep you upright and it'll prevent you from slipping on the ice. So there's a lot of different options that you can use, but in general the gist is let's get something on our feet that helps us stay upright and that we're not going to slip and actually hit ourselves in the head and that sort of thing as well. So let's say that we also now know that there's at least 4 inches of ice. I still want to think about some other safety equipment that I want to bring with me, and prior planning as well, right? We want to let other people know where we're actually going, let them know what our intentions are, and hopefully if you have a friend, bring them out with you. There's safety in numbers, and as long as we're being smart about what we're actually doing. And the other safety items that I'm going to talk about today is anytime you're around water, it's still very, very important to have a life jacket, okay? There's a lot of different life jackets on the market. This one is actually inflatable, meaning that it's not that bulky when you're wearing it, but obviously if you would fall in the water or if you pull a string, will actually inflate and then keep you afloat if you would happen to go into the ice, okay? Now, if you have the unfortunate situation where you're in the ice, it does not take long for it to just zap your energy. So it is very, very important and critical to get out of there as soon as possible. There's a couple of different things to think about if you are in the ice. These essentially have big nails that are in them, and they're meant for you to dig into the ice. Now, if you would happen to fall in, you cannot push yourself up and out of the ice. It has to be more, think of a seal trying to get out, more horizontal, and that's what these actually help you do. They dig into the ice, and then you're pulling yourself out. These don't float right here, but I do have a different set that is that do float, but they're the same concept. They just have a big nail, and honestly, if you want to just go buy 2 big nails and carry them with you on the ice, they would do the exact same thing, as long as you can get to them if you would happen to fall in the ice. Lastly, I will talk about, this is called a throw bag, but you could have a rope bag. If you aren't 100% confident that there's 4 inches of continuous ice, it's highly recommended that you may even tie yourself off to something on the edge to where you have a rope that's actually attached to you. And if you're with somebody else, bringing these rope bags is very, very important because it's a throw bag, right? So I don't have to be out there on the ice. If somebody would be out there and they still have the ability to hold on to something, they can just grab a hold of that rope and I can pull them out of there as well. But big things to think about. In Missouri, we do not have a large extended period of time where we're going to have that 4 inches or more of continuous ice. Always go out and make sure that the ice is thick enough to be on. Let somebody know that you're actually going out there before you go, and hopefully bring somebody with you as well, and then have the equipment just in case something would happen. It's that preparation aspect. Always be prepared, similar to what we talk about in Boy Scouts and Scouts like that. So thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Again, I echo anything. It says safety, safety, safety. Anything about ice, you got to be very careful and safe. Again, just to remember, Missouri is a all-season state, so just to keep that in mind, you may, like he said, maybe 2 weeks out of the year, this safety for ice is something very important to remember, but it's always important to remember because you don't see ice like this in Missouri very much. So keep that in mind. Always review your safety procedures and so forth. Thanks for tuning in today. You all have a great rest of the day.